Only pump costs.
But you're talking about when
But
they
you're
start
talking about
pumping
city
the gray
water.
water.
When the city water starts
City
coming
comes
into
in.
that.
Whole new
that's
ballgame.
right. Oh, yeah.
It's a lot
there's
I've been getting an education, but I know a little bit about, I know a little bit about, period, that's where I am, I'm a neophyte.
Well,
Jim Torba is well versed on the function of that
yeah,
property.
well, suffice it to say, there are lots of questions we
Yep.
need answered.
More questions?
Mr. Smeezy, may I make a statement too?
Yeah.
Just for a little foreshadowing, we have a rate case in Gateway, so proud of a lot of those master metered irrigation. Right now, our irrigation rate's about 31 cents a thousand. Probably in February, March, it'll be going to 50 cents a thousand.
Wow.
And that rate case is just a mathematical exercise of what it costs to run the system. And for the past 10 years or so, Gateway's irrigation rates are artificially low and it's subsidized by the water and wastewater. So it's really just a reflection of the cost to provide that. And also, hope to send a price signal to some folks to cut back on their water use. Because we have a lot of customers water 5 days a week, but when you see the amounts of water that come into some of those master metered communities, they might not have been paying attention at 31 cents a thousand. 50 cents a thousand will get their attention.
They're still
We're gonna be
getting less
paying
than-
more than that.
Right.
I heard like 80 or 90 cents.
I got a question regarding the irrigation. Didn't we look at a quote to replace old Pelican, I mean, the whole irrigation system?
Yeah, that.
Where does that stand?
That, that's another issue that came up at the president's meeting. And Scott, give him a little bit on that.
Okay, what I've done is I've looked into that recommendation. And Toro, we have a Toro golf course irrigation system.
Which people say is not the best right now.
Well, but again, some of the hardware and all the software can be upgraded. The association's not gonna need to spend $300,000-400,000 changing to another irrigation system. This can all be done for under $10,000.
Correctly?
Yes. Now,
That system.
now-
is the
You have
original
other-
system.
now the
Say
first
that again,
thing,
Nancy? That system,
Our system is the original.
right.
yeah,
I mean,
No, there's been-
we're spending that amount of money in each of the HOAs
yeah.
on an annual basis.
15,000.
10, close to between, I mean, some are spending that.
For what?
Bellagio just put out a quote that I think they're gonna do, it's what, $18,000?
To do what?
To do what?
To redo a lot of the irrigation system.
Now, what are they doing? What are they redoing? We're talking
I don't have,
about-
I'm not in Bellagio.
Okay,
I'm the
we're not talking about the pipes
Pipes.
or valves. We're
Pump
talking about the
controls.
computer system,
Controls.
the controllers and the towers. So that's what we're talking about
So you
now.
can
but
time a on and off down, it's not the actual pumping.
the-
But we
the
need
first-
feedback, we're not getting feedback
We're-
in
I
each of the
realize that.
communities.
That's part of the upgrade.
The upgrade is to give you feedback.
The upgrade is to give you the feedback when the zones are
And you are
running.
comfortable with the Toro type systems.
I've
And
worked-
this new
You know what?
meters and
I-
everything they
I would-
claim
I
is
would
gonna
be-
work.
I would be more comfortable working with Toro than putting it into somebody else's hands and spending $500,000.
I might add.
So
that-
if I might say something, first of all, the first thing you do when you're starting to have trouble with an irrigation system is you do a radio frequency survey. The community's never done one. The golf course has already done it. And they in turn added antennas and they added frequency repeaters because over time, your foliage grows and it starts blocking the frequency.
Correct.
The community's never done one. That's the first thing we need to do. We have 43 satellites within Pelican Preserve, which is normally double of what a community of this size would have. It's just the way the irrigation system was built. After we do the frequency survey, we'll know what we need to do for all of the individual towers within the neighborhood associations to be able to communicate to the master computer. Another thing that's been changed over the years, the computer originally resided at the model center. Then it was moved from the model center to the sales center. Then it was moved again out to golf course maintenance. All of that without a frequency survey being done. So there's a lot of questions on, do we have it in the right location, number one? Do we have all the towers communicating, and is there a break in the frequency? If there's a break in the frequency, then a lot of our issues can be resolved with repeaters and adding a 50-foot tower that is centrally located, not tower, antenna. So the software is available for the upgrade. So again, it's a minimal expense. So if we're going to get the results with Toro, who manufactured our original system, and we're going to get the upgrades and then any future upgrades, because we are part of the Toro program, would be at no charge to the association, I would recommend we go this route.
Hey, John, and the other thing that I think is relevant here is the fact that this isn't our baby. This is the master.
This is the
that's
master.
the Master Association's baby. The other thing is that the reclaimed water issue is a completely different issue. It's a completely different
Yes.
issue. This has to do with getting the feedback so that you know that that system is working.
Right, I mean,
Well,
it was a comment.
Yeah.
I spent some
Irrigation.
time with Ameriscape and a gentleman named Oscar. I don't know if he's still there. But Oscar would walk around every zone in Pelican. This is when we were old Pelican. And he would dial it up and make sure everything worked. Spent a couple of days when we walked around, counting heads, which one had poultice or debris, which ones are leaking, et cetera. How is that different than this frequency thing you're talking about?
Well, how is that different? He may be just doing a wet check.
Yeah, it's always
It
doing, it
does
just
not
goes
mean
along the
that
street.
the irrigation
It's
ran. Here's what's happening. Some of the neighborhoods, because of how the irrigation system was originally set up and how it's been added to over the years, is sometimes you have the neighborhood split. And there's some discussion if that's the right way of doing it, where half the street gets water, the other half doesn't. This will be able to combine neighborhoods. It will give us the feedback that the irrigation ran, and if there was a problem with a zone, it would communicate back to the computer that it didn't run, and it would put it into a prompt to run sooner than the next cycle.
Okay.
There's a lot of technology out there that nobody's looked into
Yeah,
with
it's been
Toro.
15 years or more, 20
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
So I
It's
mean,
really outdated, what we have.
the original solution was to go to another residential irrigation system. Now, why would we do that when we already have a relationship with Toro? Toro does the golf course operation. We have the equipment, we have the maintenance agreement with Toro. Why not upgrade the system?
The bottom line issue is getting feedback from the system.
Okay.
Yes.
This would provide the feedback.
You sit at a desk and know it's on.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
But
Javier has agreed to come in and talk to our group and bring Toro in also.
More information, that one.
Yeah.
But that,
well,
but like you
but
said, that's
that's
a
not our
master
issue.
association.
That's a master
issue.
association.
Yeah,
No, I'm
that's-
not, I'm talking about for
Oh, just-
how we hook up for the
So
city.
maybe the ED
Oh,
comes to
okay,
the.
well,
So
that's-
there may be
yeah.
some coordination
Yeah,
there.
yeah, okay.
Actually, there'll be coordination, but there are two different items. One's water source, one's actually irrigation system.
Physical hardware and stuff.
Yes.
Yep, okay, Scott, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other, Joe, you have anything else? Any other members?
One piece of information, our former general manager, Joe Smith,
Yeah.
has invited ponds to come down to his community in Naples to review their ponds and make suggestions. So
You
I
can
told him-
start charging a fee.
I was
Can
gonna
we
say,
start charging
yeah.
for
can-
that? Told him we'd be happy to do that.
We
So
can
this is just
subsidize our
information.
tax base.
Yeah.
And buying the lunch at least.
He did offer one.
Okay.
There you go.
Not on a diet. Conventional.
Any other committee members? Any audience comments? Please come up and Jack and introduce yourself so we know.
You know, Jack.
Everybody knows Jack, yeah.
My name is Jack Dempsey, and I'm from Bellagio. And what I'd like to ask you to do is that in the past, these meetings were broadcast live, And I'd like you to have a discussion on either that or using a film to put it back on. Because people like myself that have a hard time hearing, you can see I keep moving the microphone around. It's difficult for me to hear what's going on in a meeting like this. But when you have all your microphones and the television picks it up, and even if it's broadcast later on, at least some people like myself that have the hearing might be able to understand the program better. And it's better for you guys to do all the work that you do, it's fantastic amount, so that people will know what's going on, and how much time you spend.
May I ask Chris to maybe address that, because that's a CDD issue now too.
It is
Yeah.
because of the
Well,
ADA.
I thought we were being sent out live.
No, it's not live, we're recording it right now, and typically what we do is take that, like the CDD meetings, we'll upload it to YouTube, so anyone can check it out. We are going through some significant issues right now with ADA requirements, we'll have next week a short workshop with the board, and unfortunately, those choices are pare down the website and your broadcast to what is legally required.
And that's where they're leading, Jack, just so you know.
Yeah.
And make
It's
this-
so expensive to be
It's so
compliant.
expensive to be compliant with ADA.
What's an ADA requirement?
American with Disabilities Act.
Jack, somebody started a lawsuit a few years ago in Florida, and they are suing every CDD. They're now coming down to HOAs, and they're requiring them to meet specific standards. And the legal folks are now into it. And the fact is, if you're going to try to meet all these things, it's going to cost a fortune to do. And if you pare down what you're making available to your residents, then you can somehow skirt that very expensive issue. I mean, it is big, big money for the CDD to convert to be compliant with this, and we're part of that. So they're deciding they're not going to spend that money. I think you're talking $1 million or something, Chris?
It's considerable, and something like that, a broadcast, we would have to take it and make it closed caption, convert everything before we could broadcast it. And also, you're on our website, when you have pictures, there has to be links, and it has to be, it's about $2 a page to do the conversion. And so a lot of our background and historical documents that you can look up past budgets and things like that, we're looking at removing all those from our website and our broadcast. And if somebody wants it, they're gonna have to make a public records request. So, but
You've had a long meeting, I won't tie you up anymore.
Oh, this
I'd
is
like to
brief
talk
for
to you about
us.
that sometime in the future,
Oh, yeah.
offline.
4 o'clock.
Yeah. But,
Chris, you're saying though it could be on Facebook without that issue?
no, if we.
Currently.
Right now, that's what we do. But if it.
Well, Facebook doesn't have comply.
Well, they're not government agency. If you're a government operation, you post it on there, it would still have to meet those.
And we're not compliant, right? We're on Facebook.
I know.
We're not
We're
compliant.
not compliant.
All right. What about individual HOA websites?
Those
may come
lawsuits,
after that.
They're already-
That's the next step down, going after HOAs and their broadcasts and their notes, or the Pelican Preserve website.
Yes, they've already come after Pelican Preserve to make changes, so.
Like all that information you have on your lakes and ponds.
Yeah, all of our GIS website, we're now getting an estimate to make it all compliant. We've already asked that.
Yeah.
Don't know what it's gonna be, but
There's some
Not
little
cheap.
lady.
it's gonna influence it.
There's some little lady in Miami who's starting.
Sitting there collecting a bunch.
She's suing it.
Thank you very much.
Wish we could do it easy, Jack.
Nancy has a question. I have a comment, which I
Nancy,
wasn't,
Nancy,
would you
Mike,
introduce yourself?
and I'm Nancy Francis, and I live in Matarita too. First, thank you all for the work that you do. I've only attended 2 meetings, and I'm so impressed. It's, you really, really give it your all, and we do appreciate that, even though you mostly get complaints probably. I wasn't sure I was gonna address this, but since Jack did, I'm also attending the CDD meetings. This is not an audience-friendly venue. These monitors are so high I can't, all I've seen of you all day, Phil, not that you don't have a nice head, but. And-
Reflect, you got the
Comes to
reflection.
share well.
Yeah.
You got the reflection.
Yeah, I was gonna put my sunglasses on. They need to be lowered, the monitors, or you all need to be raised.
I agree.
For several reasons. I don't have a hearing problem, but I am a lip reader. So I am missing a lot of what you're saying because I can't read your lips. And I know I'm not the only senior with that kind of a problem. Also, the monitors are actually blocking the sound. I mean, it's just awful. I feel like I sit for 2 hours and I've heard half of what I came to learn, because that's what I'm doing here, I'm trying to learn. So those are just my thoughts. If we could get those monitors lower or you guys elevated, it would be a lot friendlier for the audience.
Mr. District Manager?
Well, if you look in front of you, those monitors were actually lowered
They are.
Yeah.
They're
about
different
6
than they
months
were.
ago. No,
Yeah,
and
they're
they're
lower
actually.
than they were.
Yeah, they're actually, before they were about 4 or 5 inches higher and we dropped them all.
Well,
And
they're-
the sound should come from here, but I understand otherwise it'd be going to a smaller monitor.
Well, plus, there's so much more when you're understanding what people are saying, to see their face and not just hear the words. There's a lot that goes into listening, and I just find this difficult, and I just have a feeling I'm not the only person.
These monitors are
Thank you.
not for PPAC, that's the CDD.
I know, they're for the CDD, but.
So why don't we just go,
Well, I have the same
that
problem.
wouldn't solve Nancy's
I
problem,
know.
because she's saying the CDD
CDD
is
is
the
the
same,
same.
same problem.
Yeah, I have the same
Nancy,
problem.
I
I mean,
thought the same
okay.
thing when I went to my first meeting. My God, I can't see anybody sitting back here. Are they hiding?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you really can't hear them, and that's
It does
even
block the
worse.
sound.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm looking to see it.
Well,
This
they-
is our protection, Nancy.
The,
bulletproof?
yeah,
Can I have one more?
I understand, and that is a problem. First, we have to tell everybody to sit up straight.
Who are you
Or
looking at
stand
when
when
you
we
say that?
speak.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
I make a motion to adjourn
No,
at 4 o'clock.
somebody else has
Yeah, I
a
just had,
comment.
We have one more other audience comment.
Thank you. This is my first meeting
Yes, would you
as
please
well.
introduce
Dean
yourself?
Groves, I'm a resident of Matarita 1, and spent much of last winter down here, and will be spending a lot of time down here this year as well. I wanted to offer my help to the committee. I'm a licensed professional engineer in Florida, traffic and transportation issues that I deal with. Met with the city traffic engineer last week on a project, Carl Caracas, and I'd like to offer help. So I know that I've heard that there's a long list of projects, there are items on our list. I keep hearing, Phil, you refer to, yeah, that's on our list. I'd like to help you look at that list and prioritize that list. So just offer my help.
Dean, thank you, Dean. We will recruit you
But
for
let
the
me-
Safety and Security Work Group.
Your name again?
Dean Groves.
We'll make you regret this,
Ready to get down.
Dean.
Dean, we have the contract for you to sign.
We will make you regret this.
We will be recruiting you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dean.
Thank you.
It'll only be 2 hours a week, Dean.
Is that what they
Yeah,
told
right.
you?
Yeah.
Less than that.
So 2 hours
Any
a month.
other audience comments? If not, hearing nothing from us, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn?
The meeting is adjourned, the meeting is adjourned 4:02, 4:01. 4:01.